One day I said to some brother here that, this is the influence of Christian Zionists. And he looked at me as if I'm absolutely silly. He said, what do you mean Christian Zionists? There is no such a thing as Christian Zionists. Zionists are Jews. There is no, Christianity is one religion, Zionist is another religion. My mindset is always not to just look at the symptoms. I need to go to the roots. That's why it takes a long time to do these researches. I need to find the roots. I'm not interested in somebody sneezing. Okay, they give him this. No, I need to find out why did he sneeze. I hope the point is clear. So what is the beginning? What is the beginning of Christian Zionist? You will not believe it. You will not believe it. In 1800, okay, the beginning of the 19th century. Somebody by the name of John Darby was born. He lived for 82 years. So he lived from 1800 till 1882. He was somebody from an aristocrat family. And he was a priest. And he studied the Bible. And he came with the theory. He has no proof. It's an explanation. It's rather like somebody reading a hadith and he says my reflection on this hadith. Like you reading Tafsir Tabari, Tafsir Ibn Kathir, Tafsir and so on, so on, so on. It is not even as scientific as that. The tafsirs are much, much, much more strict in their tafsir because they go back to the hadith and they verify the hadith sahih. No, this is just his opinion, his reflection about the Bible. And he opined. What are they waiting for? They are waiting for Isa to come back. They opined that the only way that Isa alayhi salam can come back is when the Jews are gathered in Palestine in one homeland. And he wants Isa alayhi salam to come back. Yes or no? Yes, of course he does. This is his belief. Because when he comes back, there will be wealth and khair and goodness will be in the land for 1,000 years. So he wants to work for that for 1,000 years. And he therefore argues that they must work for the establishment of Israel in the homeland in Palestine. They must be gathered there and they must be the most powerful. John Darby, the founder, and he's Christian. So the founder of Zionism is not the Jews. I'm going to say this again. The founder of Zionism is not Jews. It's a Christian man by the name of John Darby. John Darby was because he was an aristocrat and has fair amount of money. He traveled and he went to the States, Canada, and so on and so forth, and he's spreading his idea, his theory, if you like. He made there somebody by the name of Cyrus Scofield. Cyrus Scofield passed away in 1921. Cyrus Scofield picked up that theory and spread it in the United States. And basically, Cyrus Scofield, he said that there are two plans. He opines, astaghfirullah, that there are two plans for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One plan for the Israelis in land and another plan in heaven. In other words, the first plan is for the Israelis to go and live there. And the second plan, when this happens, Isa alayhi salam will descend. Okay, well, were they successful? Let us just see. So we're going to jump now from 1800. We're going to go to 1980. We're going to make a big leap, okay, because of time, inshallah. In 1980, it was declared that there will be something called the International Embassy of Christianity, okay, in Jerusalem. Attended this meeting or this conference 1,000 Christian priests. Nothing to do with the Jews. 1,000 Christian priests. They represented 23 countries, okay? And the chap who arranged this conference is a Dutch man from Holland. His name is Jan van Hoven. Jan van Hoven gives us a statement that explains the position of Biden and explains to us what is going on, why they turn a blind eye to all the atrocities that we all say, how can they do this? Listen carefully. This is a statement of the chap who arranged this conference. إننا صهاينة أكثر من الإسرائيليين. By that time now there were Jewish Zionists. And he's saying, we are more Zionists than even the Jews, than the Israelis themselves. وإن القدس هي المدينة الوحيدة التي تحظى باهتمام الله. And Jerusalem is the only city that is priority number one in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأن الله قد أعطى هذه الأرض لإسرائيل. And Allah gave this land to Israel. So you now come and say Palestinians and this. All whistles in the wind. This is a belief. This is somebody, this is the religion of somebody. You cannot sort that out in the United Nations. You cannot sort that out in the Security Council and we raise hands and then they say veto. Why? Because he's working for his belief. The only way to change a belief is by belief, or to demonstrate that that belief is erroneous. I used to say wrongly, why were our scholars, why did they not write about this? Because this is an idea. You don't need arms. You can defeat an idea with an idea. You just prove that that idea is false. It's just an opinion of one person. Why didn't our scholars write about it? No, actually our scholars wrote various books about it. But the question that we need to ask, why these books were not circulated, why these books were not published, why wasn't everybody was known, why were they not giving the fund to spread the contents of that book to defeat this silly idea? Okay, so he continues, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ أَعْطَى هَذِهِ الْأَرْضِ لِإِسْرَائِيلِ إِلَى الْأَبَدِ. Allah has given this land to Israel forever. You talk now until the cows come home about the right of Palestinians. This is his belief. And that international embassy has representation in 37 countries. So it's not just somebody who has a silly idea. Well established, and they have organizations, 37 countries in Europe, Australia, Canada, Africa, and it has that church has 20 branches in the United States. Because of that belief, money keeps coming through. From whom? From Jews? Well, money comes from Jews. Oh yes, okay. They are united. The Jews and the Christians are both united in establishing a land in Israel. When we have a small disagreement, when one of us says to another person, good morning, in not the most pleasant way, we boycott. Did you see how he said good morning to me? I'll never speak with him again. I want justice. I want his arm to be cut off. He didn't say good morning to me properly. And both of them think that in the day of judgment, each one of them will be destroyed. The Christians believe that the Jews will be totally destroyed when Isa alayhi salam comes. And what do the Jews believe? The Jews believe when Messiah comes, which is the Dajjal, he will kill everybody that is not with them. So they are both 100% against each other. But they say, wouldn't it be nice if we both gather on the same, we have common aims. Why don't we forget our differences? And that's what's going on. So huge amount of funds and donations go from the Christians, American Christians. This movement, this belief, how widespread is it in the United States? Is it 5%, 10%? 51% of Christian Americans believe in this doctrine. So the funds are coming right, left, and center to establish what? To establish illegal settlements. It's illegal to you, brother, but it's not illegal to them. They are working towards the bringing of Isa alayhi salam. That is why the title of the talk was, why do they pray for the rapture of the earth? Okay? طيب. Did that reach the top political elite in the United States? Yes. George Bush subscribed, believed in that. Jimmy Carter, innocent Jimmy Carter, was one of them, was all one. Ronald Reagan was a big believer in this. Okay? Why did we not know about this? Okay? Ronald Reagan apparently used to make political decisions on the basis of the prophecies that exist in the Bible. طيب. They have now the influence of media as well. There's a priest called Pat Robertson. I would highly recommend it to you to go to the YouTube and just write Pat Robertson. There is an actual interview between him and stupid Trump. And Pat Robertson, he's got to be in his 90s now. And he has a channel called the CBN. I think it is CBN. He's a channel called the CBN. And they arrange, the CBN, this is a huge organization, huge amount of funds. And they arrange trips to Israel. They take groups of Christians to Israel, and they will take them to where? The place where Isa and they say here, they all cry and they all become emotional and so on and so forth. And then they come out from that to the donation office of Israel. They donate for the settlements. And then the other bus comes and the other bus comes and so on and so forth. And they do the very same thing with MPs, congressmen, and that is what I spoke about. I hope that it was clear last week about the Labour Friends of Israel and the Conservative Friends of Israel. They arrange trips to Israel and they go there and they look at it and say, here, can you see this place? This is where Isa alayhi salam will descend. And yes, it is true. It will be there. Okay? And he's referred to Pat Robertson when he interviewed Trump when Trump was the president. And he is encouraging Trump, why don't you give a little nuke to Iran to teach Iran a lesson? A man is very aggressive. He's referred to as the most dangerous man in the United States. Okay? So this is Pat Robertson. Okay, right. In 1970, another priest about how trenched this idea is in the United States wrote a book called The Late Great Planet Earth. The Late Great Planet Earth. It means that the planet Earth has been destroyed. Because they believe that book was published in 1970 by Lindsay Hall. Okay, they believe that Isa alayhi salam, before he just comes back, there will be an atomic war where 3,000 million people will lose their life because of a nuclear war. While we are wondering how many goals did Blisi and BCCC scored. I can't remember the name of the one. That book, within few days of its publication, the book is referring to how the earth will be destroyed by that nuclear war. Again, it's just a fantasy. He sold 25 million copies. As a result of this extreme view, 1,200 movement, extreme right-wing movement, Christian right-wing movement, 1,200 of them have came into existence in the United States. And some of them are doing really crazy things. Some of them are having collective group suicide to bring that date closer and closer, the coming back of Isa alayhi salam. And so there is one of them is a priest called Jones, and he led a collective suicide for his group. All of them, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What if I told you to... I think I'll be killed first. We can get response to a post. What kind of brainwashing that somebody would set a group of people and he says, now we are all gonna kill ourselves so that Isa will come back, and they all do it. Mac Timothy, if you remember, the chap who made an explosion in Oklahoma is somebody that belongs to this. Okay, we will go back to Pat Robertson. Pat Robertson, when he was young, if you remember the war between Israel and when Israel attacked Lebanon in the back end of the 90s. Pat Robertson was a young man. He participated as a soldier with the Israelis. This is the degree of conviction. What about the destruction and the burning of the farthest mosque, Masjid al-Aqsa? In that book that she wrote, she said the majority of the plans to destroy al-Aqsa are planned by Christian Zionists in the United States. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to understand. We must understand the root problem before we can deal with something. We must so that when we understand the root problem, then we can find the solutions for that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the ability to do that. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم، استغفروه.